guys, today we're talking highlighter. Highlighter is kind of a little bit of a touchy subject for me. Um, I think it can be overused on a lot of people, and basically with great highlighter comes great responsibility. Wherever you put highlighter, that emphasizes the face, and that's going to make something show up. So if you're putting it in the wrong spot, your focal point is going to be just there. So if you have a large nose and you're putting highlight right there, all people are going to see is your nose. If you, like me, have a fuller face, I don't want to put highlight where I don't want it. I already have a chin that kind of comes out a little bit, so I don't want to put a bunch of highlight here because that's going to pull my chin out more. I already have a larger, kind of longer nose. It's narrow, but it's a little longer. I'm not going to really want to emphasize that. So there are certain places on certain people that you want highlight and some that you don't. And you don't have to use shimmers for highlights. You can use soft shimmers, you can use bold shimmers, you can use mattes. It's really about what your effect is and who your client is. I do recommend on more mature skin, so women starting in your 40s and up, depending upon the quality of your skin and how many fine lines and stuff you have, start being a little more sparing with the shimmer. Shimmer is going to enhance any fine lines or crow's feet that we start developing, and nothing's wrong with our fine lines, nothing's wrong with our crow's feet. We've earned every single one of them, but we don't want to overemphasize them. When you're doing your makeup, it's not about lying and saying, hey, I'm someone else. It's more of enhancing and showing people who you are. And I don't necessarily want people to see all my fine lines, and it's one thing if they're there, it's another thing I don't want to put a spotlight on them. So be careful with your shimmers on your more mature skin. So for me, I tend to, for myself, I may use a touch of shimmer, but it's a very, very, very soft shimmer, but mainly I don't do a ton of highlights for myself. There's a bunch of places on the face that you can highlight. It all depends on the person. Some people you can highlight here, you can highlight here, you can highlight along here, you can highlight these in here, you can highlight your chin, here, middle of your forehead, crossed here, above your eyebrows. I mean, you name it, you can highlight it. It's all about where you're trying to draw focus and attention and make things show up, because light attracts attention. So for me, it's all about assessing my face and saying, what do I need to enhance? I've used contour to kind of minimize certain things. What do I need to enhance all around? So for myself, I've already prepped my face. I've done contouring and blush and foundation, color correction, or anything. So now I'm just adding some highlights. And looking and analyzing my face, I would want a little bit of highlight right here to help lift my arches to where they pop up a little bit. I don't really need highlight here. I already have a really narrow high nose. I have a very high forehead, so I'm going to avoid any highlights in this area. A little highlighting here would be good for me because it enhances the cheekbones. I don't really need here. I would do a little highlight right here and a little highlight here, you know, when I do my lipstick to help my lips look larger. And I'm starting to get a little bit of lines here. I could do highlights right here to kind of soften those. So I'm going to show you how I would do that for my face. Each face is individual, and so you kind of just analyze it face by face. Product wise, I use a ton of different highlight products. It's a person by person. If I want a more pinky highlight, I use this Too Faced, and it's got a really nice pinky shimmer, and so that works really good if I'm wanting more of a peachy pinky highlight with a shimmer. If I want more of a bronzy, this is for my mid-tone or dark-skinned women who are my clients. It's Chiate London. It's the confetti highlighter. That gives a really beautiful bronzy highlight. If I need a highlight on the blush, like some people like really shimmery blushes and highlights like that, I use this one, Bloom Blush and Glow by Natasha Denonov. And it's got some peachy bronzy ones for blush with shimmers, because a lot of people do like that. Big main one that I like to do is the liquid highlighter by e.l.f. It's a gel highlighter, gives a touch of shimmer. It's not as bold of a shimmer highlight. It just gives this kind of dewiness, like a dewy highlight. So I tend to use this one a lot for more natural looks. And then if I'm doing cream-based highlighting, more matte-based, I can use powders for matte highlighting. I have my Graph-Tubium pressed powder palette, which would work for highlighting along here. It's going to do more mattes with powder-based. And if I like cream-based, I just use a lighter foundation in those areas for lighter. So for tools, I tend to, it just depends. If I'm using creams and stuff, I'm going to use a concealer brush and a sponge. If I'm using the gel, I'm going to use my finger and kind of blend that in because it's a little oily and it'll wipe off product if I use a brush. And then other ones, it just depends on where I'm putting it. I'll use like a blush brush if it's in a blushing highlight, and then more of a flat shadow brush for more matte-based ones. So for my face, I'm going to do a little bit of highlighting in here to help minimize those fine lines that, well, my frown lines in here. I'm going to take a little bit and set it in here. And a little bit under my eyes because I have a little bit of an agey bag right under there. And then the rest of my highlighting I will do with a gel because they're more accent highlights. These are structural highlights. They're to help minimize certain effects and appearances. They're not to like accent things, they're to minimize and like structurally correct. So in here, and I'm just going to blend those and soften those out. So see how the light catches and accents certain places? That's why you have to be careful with it, because if I put it in like the wrong area, it would flatten out and enhance the wrong areas. Now I'm going to do a little bit of accent highlights, and I'm going to use the gel. Just a little bit goes a long way. You don't need to do too much. It's just to add a little bit of a natural dewy shimmer. So I just take a little bit and I'm going to enhance my cheekbone here. I don't want to bring highlighting under here with shimmer because that will distort the overall shape. A little bit of highlighting in here because I have no lips. And then a little bit of highlighting in here because I want to lift my brow bone. Because we need a little bit of, and that is all the highlighting that my face personally needs. Each face is going to need something a little different. Any questions, drop a comment below and I'll get back to you.